Well, seeing how it's been nearly a year since my last video, I thought it'd be best to upload a new one before Christmas. Wait, I have no idea what Christmas has to do with uploading this video. That was a terrible line. I apologise. And I've probably just ruined the importance of the entirety of the rest of this video. But if those of you out there that do want to know what's been going on recently and want to hear an update from me in regards to what's going to be changing going forward, then please carry on watching the rest of the video. I've not wrote a script, just like I never do, so I'm probably going to waffle a fair bit and there's probably going to be mistakes, and I really don't have the patience to go through and edit all of this, so I'm just going to deal with them as and when they happen. Also, my neighbours are having some work done on their house, so you might hear random drill sounds, which is great, but oh well. I'll get straight into it for those of you that don't want to watch the full video. Essentially what's happening is that I'm going to be no longer full-time streaming. I'm actually starting a full-time job in January. Took a little bit of time to find somewhere that seemed suitable and somewhere that I could really feel like I was going to be able to progress over the next few years. But I finally found somewhere. Probably the most difficult time that I've had finding work, in all honesty. Maybe it's time of the year. Maybe it's just because I'm washed up and don't really know anything anymore. Who knows? But I managed to get somewhere with it. I'm not going to be working in the games industry. So my only games job really has been when I was working at Jagex. And obviously streaming, which is kind of a job and it's kind of not. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really excited. In terms of what's going to change in the channel, well, realistically, not that much, because recently I've been very inactive anyway, whilst I've been sorting out, trying to go to interviews and preparing for them and so on and so forth and doing research. But essentially what's going to happen is I'm going to carry on streaming. I'm never going to stop streaming. I'm just no longer going to be streaming full time. It's not going to be my main source of income. So I'll probably go just to doing 2-3 nights a week, and maybe stream at the weekends. And the main change in regards to the streams is just that I can now carry on streaming for purely fun, really, because for a while I've had to obviously be aware of financials and how changing things impacts that, which I'll touch on a little bit later, as in when I start to unwind the thoughts that are in my head and how best to approach them in video format without writing down what I'm going to say beforehand. But yeah, streaming for fun. So I might just stream different games other than old school RuneScape, which has been primarily the main game I've streamed for like nearly 12 months now. Yeah, do some cool things, and pretty much that's it. So yeah, before those of you that don't want to hear the rest of what I've got to say, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has allowed me to get to the point that I've got to, and really to say that I've been able to make full-time streaming work for 12 months. That's not because of me, that's because of all of you guys out there that have decided to support me on this journey. And hey, maybe now you don't have to support me anymore, and we can carry on sharing that journey as I go through and stream as a human in society working in a job. A human in society working in a job. What does that even mean? Maybe if I do edit this video, I'll cut that part out. Okay. So, if you're still here and you want to hear more, I'm going to quickly just touch on like a few things. How it started and what led me to the decision of no longer wanting to stream full time. How it started is really simple. I don't know. It just happened. There's a few conspiracy theories, or not really, they're just toxic people in the community that believed that the whole reason why I took a job at Jagex in the first place was to like build up this huge amount of support and following so that I could then just quit and become a full-time streamer. That wasn't the case at all. And if you watch the video that I uploaded, the first video on this channel, you'll know why I left Jagex. And streaming just happened to be a time filler for then, because I had like 2-3 weeks where I couldn't get into any new work. It was terrible timing, again, similar timing as now. In fact, I think it was 5 days ago, as of the date of this video going live, that I actually quit Jagex. Well, 5 days, 12 months. So a year, basically, is what I'm saying. I don't know. So yeah, I kind of just like left Jagex, had about 3 weeks to a month or so left of just free time. I was like, okay, whatever, I'm just going to enjoy myself, play the game, and just speak to people. And yeah, then I'll find a new job in the new year. And one thing led to another, and things kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The stream kept growing and the support kept coming in. And before I knew it, I was earning enough to be able to say comfortably, actually, this could work. I'm going to try and make something out of it. And that's essentially just how the decision to become full-time was made. And then partnership just kind of secured that, really. And yeah, carried it on for a few more months. And just, I was basically living in a, let's just see where each month takes me kind of mindset. And if I ever got to the point where 1 month things started to get a little bit bad, then I would reconsider. And thankfully that didn't happen for a very long time. The support was always insane. But the main thing for me in terms of streaming and what's impacted me the most isn't the levels of support financially. And I really don't enjoy talking about like financials from Twitch because it almost goes against who I am as a person. I don't really like the aspect of taking money from other people. And not that I think that it's bad, by the way, for streamers to be supported by other people because, you know, without them, their endless amounts of entertainment and content they provide just wouldn't exist. So people that do support those that are creating content, you know, thank you. And obviously I think it's a great thing. It's just inside, it's really hard for me to accept that. I've always found it difficult to accept the fact that people are out there willing to give money to me to play a game and talk. Even though I used to, and I still do, subscribe to Twitch streamers, so I know why I do it to other Twitch streamers. It's just never been something that I could personally accept. But that's a little bit of a tangent, just a little bit of an explanation as to like how I feel regarding that and how I still feel and how that's been something that I've had to like deal with whilst streaming, really. But the biggest problem that I found is, like I said before, not the level of support, but my level of enjoyment. And not in regards to streaming either, because every time I go to stream, or every time I have gone to stream, I've always had a good time. But this year has definitely highlighted some of my weaknesses. And one of those was very apparent when I got into a pretty dark place this year, about 4 months ago. It's about 4 months ago now. Essentially what happened was I just really burnt out of playing RuneScape. And after, you know, doing it for what would have been like 8 months at that time, solid 5 days a week, it just started to get really tiresome and I didn't enjoy it, which then put me in a negative mindset, knowing that I had to play something and do something for 8 hours that I just really didn't want to. It's not because I thought the game was bad, it's just because I didn't want to play it. So I made a decision to switch out of RuneScape, and that's basically when I started to think about how viable streaming would be for me personally full-time going forward. Because switching games is a big deal when all you've ever done is streamed one game on Twitch. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize, is that it is pretty difficult to maintain viewership and support levels when you've already kind of like designated yourself to be this type of streamer. A lot of people get into variety and they build their following up through variety, which is like different games, maybe just chatting and stuff like that, IRL. And there are many people that just focus at one section of the community. And my problem was that it was just too hard for me to continue with that. And then when I switched over, obviously there was a big drop, which I expected and anticipated. I knew it would be the case. I'm well aware of other people that have done the exact same thing and it didn't really work out for them either. But it was basically I either switched game or I just quit streaming there and then. That was the mood that I was in at the time. So that's when I moved into looking to stream other games, and I actually found TFT, Teamfight Tactics, which is the League Auto Chess. That game's actually really fun. I still play it to this day. But that gave me like 3 weeks of pure enjoyment, and it reminded me of the times when I first started streaming, way back when, before Jagex, before partnership, before all of that, and it would just be like 2 or 3 viewers chilling with me. I'm looking at you, Oak, and just playing like Twilight Princess until 4 a.m. and not having a care in the world, and I was just doing it because it was completely fun. And then that's when I realized just how much of an impact playing something that I didn't want to play had on my mood and mindset. And then WoW Classic came out, and that was fantastic. And I dedicated, I think it was like 2 months or so, to playing Classic World of Warcraft, or WoW Classic, however you call it, I don't really care. And again, that level of excitement, enjoyment, and fun was just, well, it was just insane. I was having the time of my life, and I was just sitting in my room playing games. I did like 16 hours a day, multiple days a week, and it was just brilliant. And then the reality of what I'd done had set in. And there's only so much that you can enjoy your time without being able to fully support yourself. And after what would now essentially be like 3 months of not streaming my main game, I still had a fantastic amount of support, and that was, and still is, just mind-blowing. It's so humbling to think that people were able to continue supporting me for who I am and for what I was doing, rather than the particular game that I was playing. And yeah, crazy times. But even though I was being supported very well, it was only just enough to be able to pay for all of my bills. So like I'd probably say since really August, it's been basically living month to month, just making sure that I don't spend anything really, so that I have enough money to be able to pay off my bills. And I think that's the biggest problem that I personally have with being a full-time streamer. It's definitely something that I don't think I would ever turn around and wanted to have left streaming full time if I was in a different position. But the position that I'm in now is that I have a mortgage. I've had it for a considerable amount of years, and I want to carry on having that, and I want to carry on being able to pay for it and not lose my house. I also get married next year, and it's not that long away now. I've only got a few months left, and there's still a bit of money that needs to be saved to be able to pay for that wedding. And then I have, just some ambitions and dreams going forward. Some of them might seem daft, some of them not. One of them, for example, is that one day I'm going to own my own piece of woodland, and I will commit to making that a reality. But to have these kind of like goals and to have these commitments really require stability. And that's one thing that Twitch just can't offer me. It's very volatile. 1 month, you could have the best month of your life, and you would think that it's the best thing in the world. But then the next month, it's almost as quiet as the pauses between me finding the words to speak just then were. And for the way that my head works, my mentality, I just don't deal with that very well. I don't deal with the uncertainty. I never really have, but this year has been almost like an experiment for me, trying to just like push myself and go out of my comfort zone a little bit and just live life and take each day as it comes. They sound really cliche statements, but that's kind of just how I wanted to approach this year. I left my job before I joined Jagex, which was paying really well, because I didn't enjoy it. I wanted to do something I loved, which then led me to basically uprooting my entire life and starting all over again to work in the game industry. And then that didn't work out, because you'll know from the previous video and the commute and everything, it just kind of like killed it off. And then this year was just about self-discovery and just really doing what I wanted and just seeing if it could work. But the time has came now where I have to turn around and look at the reality of what's going to be happening and where I'm going to be in the next few years. And with the uncertainty that Twitch brings, I just can't see a future for me as a full-time streamer anymore. And that's why basically I took the decision to find a job and allow that to be my main source of income. Because one of the biggest problems that I've had, I might have already mentioned it in the now 13 or and a half minutes that this video is going to be, but it is just having to think of streaming as a source of income. When I first started streaming, and even up to the point of becoming a partner, it was all about fun, and it was all about just doing what I wanted, how I wanted, and when I wanted, because I didn't have to worry if one day I didn't stream, or one day I didn't want to play a particular game that brought in more viewers. But taking that on as a full-time commitment or responsibility even would change that in ways that I never expected. And I'm sure that there are people out there that can say that streaming as a full-time job is really easy and that it's the best thing that they've ever done and they'd never want to change it. But I personally struggled, and yeah, mostly in the last few months. But the struggle was just because of financial uncertainty, really. Aside from that, I've had so many great moments, so many great memories. This year has been one of the best and one of the worst of my life, really. I'm going to have friends from Twitch that I'll never forget and I'll never stay out of contact with. I've got a great community that we've built up together, which I think will carry on staying just as strong as it is now until, well, who knows? But I'm definitely going to carry on being a part of it. I definitely plan to carry on streaming. It will just be on a part-time capacity, and I'm really genuinely excited to go back to just how I was before and to just stream because I want to stream, not because I have to. It sounds really stupid because you'd be thinking, man, you're crazy. What a hard life you live having to worry about streaming. But hopefully, like, the way I've explained it and the way that my head works and the things that I have going on kind of like put that into perspective a little bit as to why I personally found it difficult. Okay, so I did need to do a quick edit because I messed up what I was trying to say at the end, and it's a really important message, so I needed to do it again. But what I wanted to say was genuinely from the bottom of my heart, a massive thank you to absolutely everyone and anyone that has ever supported me over the last 12 months and even before the last 12 months as well on this absolutely incredible journey that we've managed to share together. And yeah, hopefully there'll be more journeys that we'll be able to share together as well going forward. To all of those that have subscribed to me on Twitch from day one, even if it's been 6 months, or even those of you that have recently subscribed in the last few days, thank you so much for allowing me to continue living and paying for my bills. If that sounds sarcastic, it's not meant to. Genuinely, it's been amazing. So thank you. Those of you that have chatted to me, that have shared your lives and experiences and stories, those of you that have helped me as well with issues that I've had, and those of you that have allowed me to help you too, thank you. I want to give an extra special thank you to Boaty as well. Those of you might know Boaty from the RuneScape community, for originally supplying me with a new microphone and a new mixer, which allowed my stream setup to just bump in terms of quality massively. I would never have been able to afford it if it wasn't for Boaty, so thank you. And, you know, obviously I appreciate the individual support from absolutely anyone that has shown it me on my stream, but it would be extremely bad of me to not at least mention Durangan specifically. The amount of support that you've shown through your gifted subs to the channel is absolutely insane. It's extremely generous, and you've in turn brought so many people to the channel as well, so thank you. And yeah, geezers, you are the best community out there. We will continue to be the best community out there too, and hopefully our raids will be just as strong as they were going forward too. That's about all that I want to say for now. There are so many individuals that I could thank, but I'll just be here for too long, and this video is already longer than the amount of hair that has receded from my head. I meant to say that a little bit more catchier, better, however, but just allow it. This is bye for now, but not bye forever, and hopefully I'll catch you in one of my live streams going forward. Yeah, we'll see. Peace.